Like we have a good crowd here today.
We cussing each other.
Hey, Joe, this is post-world game.
Mask on.
This is the first time I don't have a world game. Don't have a world game. All right. Michael, I think the last one in the door was the one that's going to do the prayer.
We got a praying on.
All right. Let's bow our heads. Dear Lord, thank you so very much for all of the blessings that you have bestowed on Jefferson County and this commission. Dear Lord, thank you for a successful World Games. Thank you for a successful continuing fellowship and working together. Dear Lord, as we sit down today to do the business of Jefferson County, we ask that you open our ears and cleanse our hearts so that we may fully understand and do this work to benefit you. Dear Lord, we ask you to keep us, guide us, protect us, give us the wisdom, the courage, and the strength to do the right things. I ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
All right, let's just begin at 1 and go. That will be you.
All right, thank you, Mr. President. For Public Works, Community Services, and Intergovernmental Relations Committee, we have one item that's on 79, the sewer repair in Tarrant. That's an ALDOT permit. And it's all right, it has been, thank you. It's been moved and properly seconded. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Have one item of business, community grant for District 1. Any questions at this time? Seeing none, do we have a motion to move?
I'll move.
Okay, it's been moved and properly seconded. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye, thank you, everyone.
Hey, somebody's going to have to start saying aye beside me.
I do like legislation.
Yeah.
I just point to my eye.
Anything else?
No, I say that. That's
That
good
ends.
business.
Commissioner Tyson. You made that quick.
Good morning, Commissioner.
Morning.
Community Development and Human Resource Services Committee. We have nothing for Cooper Green, nothing for the corner. We have something for Dr. Hamilton.
Good morning, Commissioners.
More Doc.
The first item is Oak Park Vida's lender consent letter. This is a resolution authorizing the Commission President to sign a lender consent letter for the home fund for the Oak Park Vilas project, which is located in Lipscomb. This project was funded with low-income tax credits, and the equity investors have received all of the benefit from the project, and Vantage, who is currently managing the project, is wanting to purchase the partnership interest, and then they will take over the management of that development. Number 2 is the Birmingham Regional Paratransit Consortium. This is something that we do on an annual basis. The money that we allocate for Class Tran, they want to use $305,043 of that as local match for a 5311 rural area public transportation grant that they received from ALDOT.
Do we still run Class Train?
Well, we still participate. We don't run it. But
Well, I mean, yeah.
yes, sir.
And are they taking money from Class Train to do this?
Yes. So they're using the $401,000 that we normally give them on an annual basis. They're just using that money as a match to this grant for them to continue their rural transportation.
What's the difference between the 401 and 305?
That's all they need out of the 401 to
So
meet
what
that
do we
match
do with the rest of
requirement.
it?
I don't know what they do with the rest of it, but they need that amount to meet that match requirement. They don't need the full 400.
They'll probably come in for.
Number, where was that? Number 3? Okay, it's our HUD Annual Action Plan Amendment. Everybody knows that we do an open season. It will begin on August the 26th, and we'll have a series of meetings throughout the consortium. This basically puts forth the schedule and the applications we use during that process that you all are familiar with. Number 5 is
Number 4?
not number 4. I'm sorry.
4 is open season.
4 is open season. That's what I just did.
Yeah, 3.
Okay, so we'll go down to number 5, which is Bridge Ministries. This is from our Federal Emergency Solution Grant from HUD. We typically give all of the homeless providers some funding from that to do their essential services and operations, and this will be going to Bridge Ministries, who helps with utility assistance. Number 6 is amendment number 3 for the Bridge Ministry Emergency Rental Assistance Program. We terminated the agreement with Neighborhood Housing, so we're taking some of the funds that was in that agreement and shifting that over to Bridge Ministries. And then we received that $5 million from the state voluntary program, and so they'll receive $258,000 of that for a total of $358,500. And number 7 and 8 is with the Community Food Bank of Central Alabama. The first part is with a DECA for $466,560, and then the second one is with our HUD CARES funds for the amount of $896,406 to continue the food distribution that we're doing with those funds.
I want to go back to number 2 on the Birmingham Regional Transit
Yes, sir.
Consortium. I remember a couple of years ago, there was some kind of, it was kind of a rift between those two. That Plastran was, I think, Regional Transit was trying to take their business from them. Is that still out there? Is Plastran okay with this? Or
Oh, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. They've been emailing me that they need this because it's due on Friday.
I move 1 through 8.
Thank you.
Second?
And first and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
They have some for workforce development.
And it's budgeted.
Good morning.
One.
305 is budgeted, right?
Yes, okay. Coming out of the
Agreements for dislocated workers
That
between
you ain't got
Jefferson
approved
County
yet.
on behalf of CAPT.
This ain't approved.
And
contingent on-
the training provider, ESD school, which is a tracking school, for the period of July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2023, to supply they'll be on the regulation.
Move the item.
What does ESD stand for?
ESD, I'm not sure the proper name of the company, I've always called them ESD Trucking, but they are a trucking provider that train kids or people for driving trucks.
Okay.
Then first and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
As nothing from family court, I have an item that I have gave y'all, I would like to bring up new business, for $25,000 for you.
Move that. Move the item.
Consideration of what I
Well, do we need to bring it up for unanimous consent? Is that what you're saying? All right.
That's Michael.
Yes, we'll move for unanimous consent. That's what we're doing, right?
Right.
Okay. All right.
It's been first and second for unanimous consent, all in favor, say aye.
All right.
You call it?
Move the item, please.
No, I just think, any opposed?
We already moved the second.
The item's been moved and seconded.
The item has been moved in second, can I get a motion on the floor?
Yeah.
So move to approve.
Okay, it's been first and second to approve, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Yeah, that's it.
Administrative Infrastructure Committee, Road and Trends, we have 3 items.
Move 1 through 3.
Second.
We need to pull one of them, according to Cal Whitney Avenue. Where
Yeah, this is right away vacation and requires a public hearing. We advertise a public hearing for the summer, so we got to pull it and re-advertise.
Which one? On one?
we need to coordinate this, guys, as far as I hear.
Because I thought.
Okay. How about 2 and 3, Joe? Is that one?
Second. Move it.
All in favor? County Attorney has 21 items. And then the minutes on 22. Do I have any questions about these claims? Motion to move.
Second.
One second. All in favor, say aye. Minutes from the commission meeting.
Move to the agenda for acceptance.
All in favor, say aye. No items from the sheriff, county manager. We have 2 healthcare authority board members with terms expiring on 9/2, 9/22. We have two people on that, which is Commissioner Tyson and Tony Patelis. You talked to Tony yesterday?
I tried to call him, I never got a call back.
Okay. I would,
I'm gonna move that we replace Mr. Patelis with Cal Marker.
that's proper. We have a motion and a second. Mr. Tyson, Mr. Martin, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Resolution, we need a resolution.
You don't have it?
All right, PIO no items. We have discussion nominations, and these are going to be due by August the 11th. For the legislative committee, which is the one that I serve on, and then I don't know about the executive committee, but I would like to remain on the legislative committee, if that's all right with you.
I'm doing, I think it's 4 months of Joe Knight's, Commissioner Knight's term, and I would like to do a term
Okay.
and remain on.
All right, so,
Wait a minute, say what? What I do for 4 months?
You know, you moved up into the president, so I'm replacing you on the executive committee.
On the board of directors. But I moved up in August,
Right.
which is the last meeting
Right.
at the hearing. I mean, at the board meeting. But was my term up? Well, I was still on the board. I didn't do the executive part.
You moved.
I don't
up.
know.
yeah.
And I served on the board.
That's the reason I brought this for discussion. What we need to do, we need to go back, say, and at our next meeting, we'll
Yeah,
do
they
that.
need to have all 5 here anyway, but, and the board can be, if we don't do it beforehand, we can do it at the commission. The selection for the board.
That's one thing that we have advantage of. We have vice president here. That's on our board. But anyway, with that discussion is really all we have. Have a resolution regarding illegal bingo in unincorporated Jefferson County. A resolution off to direct the county attorney to pursue and initiate all legal activity.
Mr. President, before we go to that item, what date is our next meeting?
It's not the 2nd, so it'll be the 9th and the 11th.
Okay, didn't you just say that item number 1 would have to be done by the 11th?
Item number 1 can be turned in. I've already checked. And Commissioner Knight said we could actually do it.
We can do the board, remember?
No, I was about to say, you said board member, not legislative committee.
Okay, well, legislative committee, we can do that. We can do the legislative committee
I'm just
also.
saying, does that mean that we need to take an action now in order for anyone to be eligible for the 11th? It seems like it. If your meeting is on the 11th, you gotta have it turned in by the 11th. Is that the committee meeting or commission meeting?
We can get it down there on the 11th. We should be all right, shouldn't we?
Yeah, that's the commission meeting.
Yeah. That's our commission. Once the commission takes action on it at that time.
Right.
We'll be good. We just sit it down.
State board, when do we meet again?
August the
22nd.
22nd is the first.
But I'm just saying, you already stated your position, so I'm
Right.
saying, do we
You'll
just
go ahead. We can
not
go ahead.
take an action on it now? I mean, we don't have.
We can go ahead and, if everybody's in agreement, let's put that on as one item of new business. For the legislative committee.
I would prefer to have all commissioners here before we make a vote.
Okay.
Okay.
Then that's the end of that.
So there we go.
Okay, then go back to item number 2.
Resolution regarding illegal bingo in unincorporated Jefferson County. Resolution directing the county attorney to pursue and initiate all legal actions.
Mr. President,
Yes.
I do have questions concerning this item.
Okay.
All right, so first of all, I'd like to have an explanation of exactly what this item does for public consumption so that the public knows what this resolution's intent is to do.
I'm going to defer to our legal counsel who's initiating and working through this. We don't want to show our position.
Play our cards.
Yeah, we don't want to show our position.
I think
We just want everyone to know that it's coming.
And if we need to go into executive session, we can, but I wouldn't want to do anything.
If the commission needs more than generally that, at this juncture, bingo is not authorized illegal in Jefferson County, and there are certain actions that are authorized to be taken already, but certainly there are some other matters that would probably need to be discussed in executive session, but generally, there are some actions that would be taken in regard to enforcement of certain regulations that the commission already has in place. But in short, it would be directing our office to move forward with those actions.
So, then, County Attorney, would it be permissible at this time to ask who would be, or what entity would be the enforcement part of this resolution?
There's effectively it depends on various aspects of it. But these are actions that would be taken, that are taken by the commission.
So, let me say this, Mr. President. I guess my biggest concern is that, when you're talking about public consumption, I know that this commission does not issue the license. I also understand that there is a oversaturation in certain parts of the county. I've since learned that what we are attempting to do would have no jurisdictional authority over any city that currently have bingo as it stands today in them. The main thing is that I just wanted the public to be clearly aware that it is not the commission that is issuing business licenses. It is not the commission that is trying to go against whatever law that is in place, which is the reason why I was asking about the enforcement part of it. And if that is something that, cannot be discussed in publicly right now, I understand that. But I just do have some concerns, because what I don't want to have happen is that you have folk who are doing, having these kind of businesses, and they find other ways to do it without them being taxed. I just wanted us to look at it totally, because if we can't stop it, then there needs to be some type of tax levied upon these businesses if they are to operate. So I just want to be clear on my position in terms of what my concerns are at this time.
Okay, I'd like to move the other detail. Do I have a motion? I moved it. Have a motion, do I have a second? You can second. I'll second. All in favor? Bill, we need a roll call vote. All right, Commissioner Bison.
No.
Commissioner Shea.
Abstain?
Commissioner Knight. Aye. Stevens, aye. So it goes to the agenda. 2, 1, oh. Few runs.
Mr.
One
President,
hit, no errors so far.
Mr. President, I at some point, I would like for us, whether it be an executive session or not, I am still wanting to know the answers to those two questions. One would be, what will be the enforcement authority to address the action to be taken. And I want to know, Mr. President, outside of the compliance or whatever part of this, I want to know fully what we are wanting to do and how we're going to proceed with it. Huh?
And how we're gonna get it accomplished. Theo, would you?
I'd be happy to
Is
discuss.
but let me ask this question, is the public, Mr. President, going to be made aware? I would not want citizens to be inside of these establishments and something happens and it's just,
Citizens are not gonna be affected.
Let me see if I can address some of it now, and I'll be happy to talk to anybody privately. These are not actions, these are actions that would be directed towards the owners and operators, and I would be able to say, because there have been notices that have been given in terms of things that we can do, that all of the operations in unincorporated Jefferson County, this doesn't have anything to do with anything that's in cities, but Constitutional Amendment 386 authorizes any city in Jefferson County to promulgate rules that legalize bingo in those various cities. There is no such regulation or resolution that has been passed by this commission as it relates to Jefferson County. So at this juncture, all of the operations that are in Jefferson County are in violation of your zoning.
In unincorporated.
In unincorporated, all of those are in violation of the county zoning regulations, the ones that we enforce regularly. But all bingo operations in unincorporated Jefferson County are operating in violation of the county's zoning regulations.
so then that brings me to this question. Are we saying that those businesses, even if they're in a commercial district, that they are not in compliance with zoning?
That's correct.
Okay. Tell me, let's state the law one more time. Did you say 386?
It's Constitutional Amendment 386. That is the constitutional amendment that authorizes bingo in Jefferson County subject to rules and regulations that are promulgated by the governing bodies. So in other words, if there's a municipality within Jefferson County that wants to have and has bingo, then that governing body can promulgate rules and regulations governing licensing and control of bingo in those cities. And that is the same thing for unincorporated Jefferson County. Unincorporated Jefferson County does not have a resolution authorizing bingo in Jefferson County. So as a result, those businesses are not legal in unincorporated Jefferson County, not the cities, but in unincorporated Jefferson County, all of those businesses are
This is charity.
So let me ask this, because I remember when a particular nonprofit over on the eastern side of Birmingham operated, and it was supposed to be charity. So here's my question: do we know of any city at this time that is desirous of bingo not operating? At this time, are we aware of any cities?
There's several cities
Yeah, I don't think the
that
city,
do not allow
the city
it.
of Birmingham doesn't have it. Yeah, there's several cities in the county that don't have it. And
No, I'm talking about, it's not a matter of they have a desire not to have it. My question is, have they taken any kind of legal steps to make sure that it's not operating in their city, is my question.
well, you have to take the other step in order for it to be legal. You have to take the step to pass the rules and regulations that govern bingo. Jefferson County, until 2010, there was a constitutional amendment that authorized bingo in Jefferson County. There were two amendments that were in conflict, and the one that authorized bingo was declared unconstitutional. So the current resolution, the current constitutional amendment says that bingo is legal in Jefferson County subject to the rules and regulations that are promulgated by the governing body. So if there is a city, and there are cities that have legal bingo, those city councils have approved rules and regulations that authorize the licensing and et cetera of bingo. The unincorporated Jefferson County governing body is Jefferson County, and Jefferson County does not and has not adopted or promulgated any rules with regard to operating bingo. So as such, in unincorporated Jefferson County, bingo is illegal, and that is violation of, aside from any other criminal aspects of gambling, it's a zoning violation that violates the zoning rules and regulations of the county.
Last question, Mr. President, to the county attorney, and this will be it, because this is more for public consumption. I would be interested in knowing what the cost would be associated with the enforcement of making sure that this resolution is what it is. It's not good if it's not enforced. I'd be interested in knowing, and if you don't know, county attorney, at this time, it's fine, but I would like to know what is it going to cost to make sure that these establishments, if they are operating illegally, we pass this, and they are, which they are anyway, whether we pass this or not. The bottom line is I'd be interested in knowing what is the cost associated with the enforcement of this resolution, because it's going to cost, somebody's going to have to go and make sure that these businesses are no longer open. And if they are open, there has to be some money that has to be spent in order to prosecute violators. It has to be some type of enforcement with this. Other than that, we're just passing something for it to make evening news, but that's it.
I have to, in terms of cost, I don't know that it's that exorbitant other than manpower in the courts. So I don't know that there's anything beyond that.
Okay, but if it's bogged down in the courts, does that cease those operations until it goes through the court system?
Any actions that we would take in terms of legal pursuit, I'd rather do that either in executive session or discuss it.
What we're doing is we're enforcing zoning ordinances for Jefferson County. And this comes as a result of this very county commission denying a zoning for bingo hall. And at least 2 occasions that I know of where Michael lived. And the people said, I don't care. I'm going to go ahead and open anyway. So if they do it for that, if we don't have the ability to enforce our zoning laws, the next time that someone builds a building and it's not in code or compliance, I don't care. I'm going to do it anyway. So you have to have an enforcement that's fair and equitable for everyone. You can't turn your head because you don't, maybe an individual doesn't like it or say, well, I think that's all right. It's either right or it's wrong, and it has to be applied uniformly throughout the county. Now, I think it may possibly affect you some areas of Forest Hill. I can't think of any place in unincorporated that you represent that there's a hall that we're going to. So it's mainly, and I don't think there's anything in Steve's, it's mainly Commissioner Nyquist's area. So if that helps with the explanation about what's going on, doesn't have anything to do with whether it's legal or illegal or not. They are violating zoning ordinances of Jefferson County.
Maybe it would help to say these are civil actions. They're not. These will be civil actions.
So the only thing that I would say, Mr. President, in closing, is that I'm looking for all of our resolutions to be enforced. I just have a growing concern that the public needs to know we never issued these business licenses. And because they were never...
We got business license, but they weren't
Okay, hold on.
bingo license.
Hold on. But what I'm saying is there has to be a process in place that these businesses, if they appear to be in question, that the public knows that, it's not the job of the commission to make sure that they're in compliance with zoning and anything else, so that the business license is issued by the revenue. Huh?
I think it is our duty to make sure they're in compliance with the
Then
zoning.
no, I didn't say, just, let me say this, let me make it plain. In other words, I am saying, when you go to apply for a business license in the revenue department, they are not seeing a commission. That's number one. And the public needs to know that. When that business license is issued, if it is not in the book that we have before us today, which I think you might have mine, okay, then if it doesn't come before us, then we have no knowledge of it, and the public needs to know that too. So therefore, i.e. in my district, where it comes up, if it has not come before the commission, then I have no idea that that business even exists. And all that I'm saying is for public consumption, that there has to be some enforcement. We've already said, okay, well then fine, we'll talk about that in the executive session. I am still interested in what it's going to cost for us to be able to pay employees to go out there to enforce what we pass. Because it's not going to be any good if we pass it, but we don't have consistent enforcement. And I think that that's all that our constituents are looking at anyway, is if you pass it, and you still have these places opening up under a different name or whatever. And believe me, remember the 777s, the Chuck E. Cheese law allowed that to happen? They were all over the place. And if you don't have someone that's really chasing these folk around to make sure that they're not opening up and still doing business under some other name or whatever the case may be, we're going to have to be very vigilant in making sure that that happens. And that's all that I'm making sure of, is that we pass it, or whatever happens with it, that there is some accountability to us, to the public, that is enforced. That's all I'm saying.
And I think that, yeah.
And that also means that anything else that comes up, we better enforce everything, not just bingo, because I promise you, with all this violent crime that we have going on in Jefferson County, you know, bingo not killing people. It may be harming on some level communities, but I just want to make sure that, you know.
And Commissioner, I really appreciate those comments, because there's something in the works right now that I think that you'll be very pleased about what's going to occur, and that it will give us a much more responsibility over all of these things that are going on.
Well, you might want to read the Trustful Tribune, Joe, because they got an article that's out already where the sheriff is already talking about the cost of what it is, and it just so happened to be in the Trustful Tribune. So you might want to look that up. So that's why I want us to. Well, that's nothing bad, Joe. I'm just saying I want us to, you know, Kiara and that Office of Public Information. I just want us, Jim, to make sure that we are getting ahead of this and making sure that the public understands why this is taking place and how accountable we're going to be to the public about the enforcement of it.
I understand.
This is not a new issue. We've
It's
discussed
not.
it before, and we have put each and every one of these houses on notice, and then we've noticed them a second time. So, and it's like, they just like, we don't care what your notice says. So we have to be able to enforce what our rules are, our laws are, or our resolutions and ordinances, or either do away with them.
All right, that's, Joe, you're next. I'll ask you this.
When did Tribune article come out?
As a matter of fact, hold on just a moment. It is, okay. I'll tell you, I'll share it with you.
Well, I appreciate you keeping up with me.
Isn't it in the county, Joe? It's for the good of the county.
All right, finance. Ms. Dixon?
Good morning, Commissioners. Item number 1 is our unusual demand report. Item 2, 3, and 4 are our normal purchasing agenda report, purchasing exception report, and encumbrance report. Item number 5 is our region's procurement card statement. Item number 6 is our Jefferson Credit Union procurement card statement. Item number 7 is Terminex, but we would like to hold that over to the next agenda. We're still working through the details on that one. Item number 8 is our PACA partnership with the Escambia County Board of Education.
All right, do I have a motion 1 through 6 plus item 8? I have a motion and second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody got any questions on the budget management office for travel? I need a motion.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Board of Equalization. Ms. Knight, are you on?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay.
This is a subscription to CoStar, which is the commercial side of MLS that we use for sales comparison on commercial properties to determine value.
All right, do I have a motion?
Move that.
A motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Did we do the budget agenda item for EMA?
Did I miss one?
You got number 2, budget agenda on the.
Oh, I did.
Only, I moved it.
Have a motion? Second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, developmental services.
Here we go.
Drum roll.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Ms. Morrison.
Yes, sir. The first case of the agenda is Z-220005. This is a request to rezone 103 acres to RR, which is rural residential. This is out on Fletcher Road in the southern area of the county. This case has generated some opposition. Originally, back in March, they applied to the Planning and Zoning Commission for a 269 lot subdivision in RG zoning. They discovered that it was not compliant with the county's land use plan, as well as it generated a lot of opposition at that hearing. They came back with this reduced density of, again, 108 units, which is approximately 1.04 units per acre. Because of its compliance with the county land use plan, the Planning and Zoning Commission did recommend approval of this particular development plan. There was still opposition at the hearings. We had concerns about additional traffic, the overall development of the general area, and the deterioration of the rural character of this particular section of the county.
I have a question. Is it 108 or is it 269?
It should be 103 acres.
103 acres. But is there a...
108 houses.
108 lots.
Okay, but
103 acres.
here it's 269.
The original plan was for 269.
Oh, okay.
269 lots.
Okay.
They've amended that to 103.
Now, this is out towards
Yes, sir.
Camp Fletcher Road.
Correct.
Now, the roads are not very good out there at all. Are they requiring any, look at me like that.
No,
What the,
When I say that, you're talking about increasing the traffic flow. And when they say rural, this rural, like, everybody's been to Camp Fletcher.
Are we going to have to...
That's what I'm asking.
I mean, is this going to cause us, they'll be like, hey, our roads are terrible, y'all got to... I mean, what's 108 or however many, you know...
currently, there have been plans to realign Fletcher Road in this area for some time. And I think that currently, Road and Transportation is wrapping up plans to go ahead and commence with that activity. As that's going on, as part of the county's road plan, the development of the lots will be phased based on what portion of the project, how much the project has been completed.
Just Heather on location.
she's in training. And also, when the actual subdivision plan comes in, we will require a detailed traffic study and require improvements as needed. Now, there's just,
Well, I mean, if you go get one, you're going to get another one, another 100 acres here, then you're going to get two, and then it's going to be on us.
and it's a difficult situation because, you know, a public county maintained road just hasn't been paved in a while. We can't deny someone access unless we can close the bridge, but we can require capacity issues if, you know, they need a turning lane or semi-turning lane or additional lanes all the way through, so that's what we look at.
Well, how much of this will be on the developer? None?
If any turning lanes or capacity issues will all be on the developer.
Correct.
You know, I don't mind moving this to the agenda for the public hearing. Is this a public hearing?
Yes, sir.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Yeah, and then what, I like to go ahead and qualify what I said, but I would like to withhold the vote, on that public. I have a public hearing,
Yeah.
and withhold that vote till we get a lot more information in here to where I can see what's going on, because I have received numerous calls in opposition to this, and having laid eyes on that property down there, I understand. So, we'll move it for the public hearing, we'll listen to folks, and if we could wait till our roads and trans, and perhaps a developer came in, and then at a later date, when we get more information, because this is my district, perhaps vote on this.
Have a motion.
Second.
And a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Moving into the agenda only for a public hearing. All right, Z 220022.
This is a request to go from A1 to C1 for a child development center. It's located at 5555 Eastern Valley Road, those familiar with the area. This is the property that's sort of behind the Dollar General that was approved several years ago, down close to Abernathy's Crossroads and Abernathy Store. Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval with conditions for substantial performance of the site plan and architectural rendering as well as parking lot lighting to be directed downward and shielded away from any adjacent properties. However, looking back over this, because the county has imposed architectural standards, not just on that Dollar General, but also a convenience store down the street, where they've been looking for more of a rustic, rural design. The staff is recommending to change those particular conditions so that the site plan and architectural renderings are submitted for approval by the Planning and Zoning Commission, and then the architecture be similar to other recently approved developments along Eastern Valley Road, just so we can maintain consistency as far as what all we approved to go on down this road. And this rezoning is compliant with the policies of the county legislature.
Item 2, do I have a motion? Motion.
Okay, second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Move to the agenda.
All right, I do know that Dollar General and across the street, that alcohol will put some kids right next door to that. That's good for that.
There is no requirement for distance between schools and daycares for beer and wine licenses. It's just liquor.
Okay. Z 220023.
Yes, this is a large 10-acre tract in Savory, on the northern end of the county, Highway 78, that area. This particular parcel was zoned from I-3 to institutional 2 back in 2000 for a church. The church never materialized on the property, and now someone has come through and is supposed to rezone it to A1 for a mobile home.
I'll move. Have a motion?
Okay, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
We can move it seconded, but I did have a question. So, you said it's on 78. How far up 78? Where is this?
This is closer to the Walker County line. This is past Graceville.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, do you know where,
Is it your
Green
town?
Top is? It's my, it's my.
By Wesley's.
Oh,
Yeah, going on.
yeah, right there. Yeah.
Oh, that's all your time. It's all your time.
All right.
Okay, you answered my question.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Z 220025.
This is a request to go from CN and A1 to C1 for a convenience store. This property is located at 3487 Warrior Jackson Road, much near the intersection of Warrior Jackson Road and Corner School Road, / Mount Olive Road. That road becomes one road, but it has two separate names depending on which side of the intersection that you're on. The property contains 9.34 acres and it's primarily vacant, but there is a small residence on the property that was converted at one point in time, I believe, to a beauty shop. That residence is currently operating as an illegal bingo hall. And again, the property owner requested this rezoning to destroy all the buildings on the property and change the zoning to C1 to accommodate a convenience store.
Motion to demolish.
Good.
Yes, sir.
Do you think they're getting ready to do very well?
Not from the site plans that have been seen. Every site plan shows that they're doing a
Go what?
paint store.
Well, it says the site plan and architectural design are to be submitted for approval by the Planning and Zoning Commission, so I would tend to think that.
Correct.
you know,
That's standard for most commercial developments.
No, I get it, which would take the onus off of us. I would think it would have to be brought back before us if they were building anything other than what.
If they were doing anything outside of what we're allowed to see on, that would be correct. That's perfectly possible. And they have been cited by our office, that they first received notice of their non-compliance back in March.
That doesn't look handicapped acceptable either, does it?
You know, got a head plans. Look like something.
No question about what they go to in there.
I move it.
Have a motion. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Z220026.
Yes, this is a request to go from I-3 industrial to A1 for a 6-lot residential subdivision. It's 167 acres, so these lots are going to be large. But this will be, of course, that'll be compliant with A1 zoning. This area is Trafford's rural area of the county. And again, so this is not put within any county's land use plans. It's bring the property more into compliance and reduce the risk of any sort of commercial or industrial or development next to existing rural residential.
Go everything's in mind. Like this, I think it's secure.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of these requests in this particular area of the county over the past 2 or 3 years, where you have your mining operations that have owned these properties for years and are now using it for residential.
Do I have a motion?
I move.
Have a motion? Do I have a second? I'll second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Z220027.
This is a request. The property itself has split zoning. The small portion of it was zoned in 1998 for a small convenience store. Since then, the operation of that convenience store has ceased, and the applicants just wish to consolidate the zoning on the property to A1.
But
That's me.
that's what I'm,
That's me.
is that number 6?
Yes. Homie. Homie.
Says a point.
Homie.
Okay.
Do I have a motion?
I move it.
I have a motion. Second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Z220030.
0030.
Well, you're way up, yeah. About 2.8.
What?
No, I only see 27, then it's 30.
Well, I don't know. I'm just going down the list that's
Oh,
before
okay.
me.
It should be 2829 on the agenda.
Really? Yes, it stops at 27.
There are 2 additional cases in your report. We'll go.
Well,
Okay.
I can
The
only,
book has something.
all right, so we got 0028. Is that what you're saying that is on? We need to get it to advertise, so.
2.8.
Yeah, everything's been advertised. There was just an error in getting that in minutes. In fact, we'll correct that Thursday.
That's out on Kimball Cutoff Road. That's
Yes.
mine.
This is a 13-acre parcel that lies directly southwest of an existing subdivision. That particular subdivision was developed in Lakeview, but has since been, the jurisdiction has changed due to an annexation that was avoided in this instance, the Planning and Zoning Commission, because there is an adjacent development that is of similar character, Planning and Zoning Commission has recommended approval with a condition for the submission and completion of a traffic impact study. The developers did indicate at the public hearing that they are planning on connecting to Lakeview's sewer system.
Is that ours or Lakeview's?
Lakeview's.
Do we have one out there?
We do not, the sewer extended that far down there.
Okay.
There is some on the other opposite side of the railroad track near the industrial park. There's no county sewer this far down Eastern Valley Road.
And this is how many lots?
77 proposed.
Any opposition?
No, in fact, it was a letter of support.
I move. Have a motion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Me asking, do we need a unanimous consent since what now?
They don't appear on the agenda added to items at all.
Well, I move that we add
Yeah.
Z
Yeah,
220028 and Z 220029 for unanimous consent to be considered on the agenda to be passed to the commission meeting on Thursday.
Second.
A motion, a second. Aye. All in favor?
Aye.
And so Z 220028 is now passed to the agenda. Do I have a motion?
Second.
So moved. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Z 220029.
This request is located at 3374 Old Columbiana Road down in the Hoover area. Recently, this property was subdivided. One portion of the subdivision was going to be commercial development. That's the portion that's closest to Old Columbiana Road. This particular parcel or lot is located in the middle. To the east of it, that was approved for a garden home development. All this is annexed off, or all of this, the garden home development has access off of Patton Chapel Road. This proposed condominium development has access off of Old Columbia and approved to commercial property. This is a 2.5-story, 30-unit condominium that's being proposed here. I would note that within several months passed down a couple of lots away, down at the bottom of Patton Chapel Road, where this new development, the garden home development, will come in. We approved the development for a similar condominium development on that tract. And so originally this particular lot was proposed for the folding pond as well as a clubhouse for the adjacent approved garden home development. The developers have since requested this case as they've seen that there's no market for a club home with these sorts of garden home developments.
Any opposition?
There was one letter of opposition that was submitted that's included in your packet. There was no opposition present at the public hearing.
What about the city of Hoover?
I don't know if we've seen any feedback.
I would like to, see the letter of opposition in favor of those. Move it to the agenda for the public hearing, but I would like, since this is right in the middle of Hoover, I would like to talk to the leadership over there to see what they think of it and where they will get fire and police protection, things like that. And
Is that your district or Steve's? Or do you know?
it's so close it could be mine or Steve's.
That's going to be District 5.
Be District 5.
The city was aware of it.
You make contact with the city? I know.
I'd like to.
Well,
do
we'll
that.
move it to the agenda then. Let's reach out to Hoover. Do I have a motion?
Move the item to the agenda.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right, now, I see no, all right, Z 220030.
This is a request to go from C1 zoning to A1 for residential use per the act. This property is located on Valley Road, a trustful area. It is bound by I-59 to the northwest. Back in 2005, this property was rezoned from A1 to C1 for a gun shop. Since that time, there's been no material development on the property, and the property owner just wishes to downzone it back to A1.
Have a motion?
Second.
Second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, I see no Z 220031, and I don't see it in the book, so let's go to Z 220032.
32 is another request to remove split zoning on the property. Recently, this consists of a lot in a residential subdivision, and they've acquired some additional acreage via a subdivision, an active subdivision. That additional acreage that they've acquired is zoned A1. The primary lot is zoned R1. This is just to bring the entirety of the lot into one zoning classification.
I move.
Second.
A motion, second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right. I see no 33. Z 220034.
Case number 34, this is a request for a 36-lot residential subdivision in the forest area. This particular property is currently zoned A1. The applicant is proposing R1S, which is a single-family zoning designation that allows for slightly smaller or more dense development due to it being located on sanitary sewer. In this instance, the Planning and Zoning Commission did recommend approval, and this is compliant with the county's land use plan for the area. There are 2 letters of opposition, one of which came over the weekend, added those into your packets. However, both of the letters of opposition come from property owners that are well over 1,000 feet away. The developer in this case has also proposed another similar infill, typical suburban development a few thousand feet to the east of this site. Both of the property owners that put letters of opposition against this case live closer to that site. So no one within 500 feet of this particular site has expressed any opposition.
Who will take care of that retention pond?
That would be on the developer's view.
But after the developer is gone and forgotten, who gets it then? Is that the homeowners association? Will
That's
that be a
correct.
homeowners association, or will that fall back on the county?
That would follow the homeowners association at this point in time.
So, then I have a question. So, as far as I know, and you said as a homeowners association, what is that? Because I'm trying to think of.
Once that's developed,
I was about to say, I don't know of a homeowners association.
Right.
Right.
but this is typical for newer developments. They come along, the homeowners association are formed, and they assess dues amongst each other to take care of things that are common areas.
Right.
In this instance, it would be drainage ponds.
So-
A lot of times you see them do this for things like sidewalks, things like community parks, that sort of thing. Again, where they assess these fees amongst themselves, kind of like a condo association.
So let me ask this question. Do we see that there is a need for any kind of queue conditions to be added to this item so that, you know, you have something that's complementary to the community, that is not something that, you know, based on them going from one zoning to another, which I can tell is agriculture versus single families, which what they're looking for now. So is this affordable housing? What is it?
It's just, it would be single-family residential development. They would be constructing houses on the property. Currently, under A1 zoning, they could subdivide it and place multiple homes. Of course, multiple homes would have to be occupied by the property owner, the property owner's legal name. So this would be removing that.
Oh, okay, it would remove the possibility of one home.
Possibility of both.
Oh, okay.
As
We
well as-
remove it, I was about to say, no, absolutely.
Well, what's the price of house and square footage? Did I miss that?
Price of houses square footage? Yeah. In the area?
No, and this, they're proposing this, normally we ask, you know, to build, what size houses are we talking about? You know,
There is a conceptual rendering in the packet of what sort of house they're looking for, but questions like that can sort of begin to infringe on things like fair housing that could bring some scrutiny into the commission action. That's a question you may want to ask the developer just to know, but again, that's not anything that we.
Is he coming
No, it should be.
Thursday?
Should be.
I'll ask him directly because questions like that directly affect the
Yeah, you're talking about the
community.
comparables and making sure that whatever you build is complementary to the existing property.
And he did state that in dealing with the other case, that the housing value would be equal to, or if not more than what was already on the ground. He wasn't asked those particular questions in this particular location. However, this developer has completed another infill development, sort of in the general area, maybe a mile away. Again, it's been newer houses that have been something that has been complimented.
So you're saying that this developer, obviously, the contractor has a history?
Yes.
And
It looks like that, that's fine.
Nice.
if you don't mind to give me the address to the other properties, and then what we can do is go out and look at it. You see what I'm saying? It's possible. Yeah. So I'll move to pass it on to the agenda.
Have a motion.
For further questions.
Also, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Z 220036.
This is a request again to remove a split zoning that was placed on the property in 1966. This will bring the entire property into one zone classification, that should ease any comments or anything.
So that 35217, that's near, Parsons. Well, Parsons is 14, so that's 17.
This is gonna be,
Okay.
Terry.
Okay.
Well, it's on
What do
me.
y'all with you?
Joe, no?
Yeah.
All right, Joe, you, I move to the agenda.
Motion.
Second?
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Z 220037.
Yes, this is a request to go from A1 to R1 for a residential subdivision. You're proposing 57 lots. This is up in the Morris Kimberly area off of Bob Glen Road. We did have some opposition to this request from the there's another residential subdivision on the opposite side of the river from this particular location. They had some concerns about the effect on the creek itself, environmental effects, flooding, and then also I want to say that there was some conversation too about the traffic network in the area. This rezoning is compliant with the county land use plan for the property, and it is compliant with municipal development in the general area, and the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval. Since the public hearing, we have learned that the applicant has tried to reach out to that homeowners association and address some of their concerns.
Do I have a motion?
Is this,
Well, we gotta get you to
Yeah.
we gotta
Well, we
get
can move it to the
I'll
agenda.
go to the agenda. We gotta get your one,
Right.
Yeah,
I move.
yeah.
Have a motion?
Second?
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
That will conclude the
Are you sure?
zoning, I think. I don't see any more in the book. I don't see any more under the table.
Yeah, it is.
Right. Thank you, Mike. District Attorney, Deputy District Attorney salary agreement. Have a motion?
They're gonna reprint it.
All in favor,
It's
please
supposed to
say
be on
aye.
the-
Aye.
On letterhead.
EMA Management
Check that.
Agency, this is a,
Information on?
yeah.
Move
The
the
EMA.
item.
Great. Have a motion? Second. All in favor, please say aye.
Hey, Mike.
All right, Human Resources, we have an employment agreement, Director of Youth Detention. Move. Have a motion? Do I have a second? Have a second, all in favor, please say aye. All right, and,
Move, grant to the city of
all
Kimberly.
right, have a motion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Well, I got just a note that on our animals with Greater Birmingham Humane Society, we have a request or our actual directive from Dr. Lindy Alverson. We have an outbreak in the county, and it's kind of across the state. It's an H3N2 canine influenza virus. It's prevalent in the community. It spreads easily, and so the Humane Society, the Animal Control has gone to priority 1 status. So there's no adoptions, no transports, no intake, except for emergency animals only now. Just wanted y'all to be aware of it. Our furry friends had their own little epidemic, looks like, so, just, and this, it spreads easily. It's a cough, and it gets worse into sort of like COVID in humans, but, so they're just being very proactive as far as trying to stem this, so I'm just letting y'all know there's no action to take from us, I don't think, just to let you know. It's serious? Yeah. Mark?
Thank you. On IT, they had an agenda item that just passed through the personnel board on Friday. And if y'all would consider adding it to the agenda, they've lost several positions. A security information officer and a network systems officer. So we have a contract with TEK Systems to provide additional computer services. And it's in track and ready to go. If y'all had that in the agenda again, the reason it's late, so we had to wait on the personnel board meeting and went through them.
I guess the question that we have, if it's in minute track and ready to go, is it been approved for all the different areas?
The only one that has it is me, and I'll click off on it when I get back.
Have a motion to consider new item for IT.
Second? Did you move it?
I moved
I
it.
thought you moved it, I said second.
All
Okay, let's.
All in favor, say
Aye.
I mean, I'm not running Steve's agenda, but
aye.
I can't.
Well, you go ahead.
I got-
No, the county manager is the one that brought the item to the
Now, a motion for approval.
second.
Motion to second, all in favor, please say aye. There's a community grant for District 5 for $10,000 to the Sloss Furnace Foundation. I would like to tag on to that, do 10,000 also to that Sloss Furnace. They were stellar in World Games, really stepped up, did some really good things out there, so I would concur with Commissioner Ammons if Ms. Danielle Cater would help out. All in favor of that? Have a motion? Second, all in favor, please say aye. Very, very much.
That concludes.
Now, should we make arrangements for lunch on Thursday, since we'll have all these public hearings? Or maybe just maybe.
Just don't plan for much after, before lunch, I guess. Yeah, man.
I think we do. Yeah. We'll read that.
Theo, you have
No.
any commission?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about travel I went to
That's right.
and Colorado, and we got on a lot of tours. They took us on a tour of their county buildings, and they had a health initiative in the building that I've been trying to get us to get. They put like a health gymnasium in there for the employees, that whoever want to come in and use it. And it helps their insurance price, number one. And the community hospitals like Cooper Green, the Cooper Green came in like so many times a month, and they did all kind of clinics for the people coming in on their lunch and stuff. And it helped their employees get more healthier. They lost so many thousands of pounds in 6 months that they had a scale, they had a contest, they did that. A lot of employees that were struggling with diabetes and high blood pressure, all of that was improved. They just had a scale on how it just benefited the county over 2 years of the health initiative that they did. And I just thought it was a wonderful thing, and I would just love for us to do that. And I know they had found a room over in the 2121 building where we could use and everything. I would love for that to happen. And also, we went to one of their clinics where they had a health initiative with food, where they can actually, you couldn't be on food stamps or anything like that, but it was for low-income people. And they were actually, it was like a food pantry, and they go in there and shop, and they put the amount on their card. They can do it twice a month to come in for the homeless and the low income community. And I thought that was great. So I did a lot of those type of meetings. I did a lot of tours, but they had so many things that I know that Jefferson County can benefit out of. I got all the paperwork for you to read over. and they do have videos that you can look at the videos. And I would really love for us to take advantage of their health initiative.
Commissioner, let me ask you, that was in Denver. Now, is Denver, the municipality of Denver, separate from the county? Or is it kind of a?
It's very similar to ours. Everything that they was doing, it's just growing there. So it's just growing so fast. They are building everywhere, but it's just very similar to our the way we went out.
Did you have any trouble with the altitude?
I had bronchitis, something that bronchitis, they just cleared it up really.
Oh, really?
Much better.
Wow. A little thinner air and.
Right.
Man.
and much better. Knee wasn't hurting as bad and all of that, so
Wow.
I actually went bike riding, so.
Bike riding, wow, that's bike riding at a mile high. Did you go up here or down?
I was all flat, I went with the senior citizen. So it was great.
All right, being no further business, meeting adjourned.